We guitarists are always looking for ways to optimize our practice and our playing. Some of us are convinced that if we had the right guitar, it would be easier to play faster. Others are convinced that if they had a high-end pro amp setup, they would finally have the perfect tones. In either camp, many guitarists fall victim to gear acquisition syndrome, where they struggle with the urge to keep buying guitar stuff that they don't really need. The truth is that you don't need a lot of fancy equipment to play guitar and get better at it. While I don't consider myself far from being a guitar minimalist, there are certain pieces of gear that are worth getting because they can help improve the player experience. In this discussion, I'm going to share with you a simple, inexpensive piece of gear that makes your playing easier and more comfortable. Stay tuned because I've got a bonus that I'll be giving away to really help you optimize your practice routine and become a better guitarist. So let's fire up that intro and dive in. I'm going to cut right to the chase and tell you what the simple, inexpensive practice guitar enhancer is. It's a footrest. You might be wondering why you should care so much about a specialized piece of equipment that just wears the bottom of your foot as a hat. Well, the whole point of the footrest is that it gives you a much more comfortable experience whenever you're practicing or playing guitar in the seated position because it elevates one of your legs higher than the other. A lot happens when you introduce this one little item because it helps balance the guitar across your lap, which in turn puts the guitar in a more ergonomic position in your hands as you play. The enhanced position allows you to see the fretboard better when you look down at it, access both ends of the fretboard more comfortably, and just have a much more comfortable practice experience overall. Today we're going to be taking a look at the OnStage FS7850B 5-position footrest. This specific footrest has 5 adjustable positions that sit anywhere between 5 and 10 inches high. It also folds completely flat if you need to store it or carry it somewhere. The OnStage footrest is pretty solid and durable since it's mostly made of metal. I personally find the quality to be pretty impressive, especially since it's currently selling for only $12.95 on Sweetwater. The only non-metal parts of the footrest are the rubber feet on the bottom and the textured rubber pad on the top that the bottom of your foot goes on. These elements help stabilize your foot and prevent the footrest from sliding all around the place, especially if you're heavy-footed and really like to put the pedal to the metal. Before I got this specific item, I did try other free alternatives, and I'll share with you what those were and how they worked for me in just a moment. But before I forget, I want to give you a super sweet bonus that goes hand in hand with practicing better, and it's my Guitar Gains cheat sheet. It's a completely free tool that shows you how to make consistent progress using my best scientifically based tips. It also shows you how to eliminate poor practice habits like practicing in waves and how to replace them with optimal habits for guitar success. It even includes a customizable goal setting template so you can figure out your next guitar goal and how to best crush it. Again, this is a totally free gift for you just for watching, so just click the link in the description or go to zachsharguitar.com and download this awesome free resource. Then come on back to this video to find out my biggest struggles before getting the footrest and what the ideal position is for you to use it in. So I've always seen guitarists, especially classical players, use the footrest, but I never saw the point. At first I didn't see the need for having anything under your foot except the floor. If I wanted to elevate one of my legs, I would just raise my left heel and leave the ball of my foot on the ground. While this did give my left calf some much needed hypertrophy, this idea wasn't sustainable because it became uncomfortable to maintain during my practice sessions. I then decided to try 1 or 2 yoga blocks since I had them laying around. And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Frassard, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, was the one who inspired this idea in one of his YouTube videos. By the way, you should totally check out his YouTube channel if you're into metal guitar or lifting weights. But I tried his idea for maybe a year or so, give or take, and I thought it worked pretty well during that time. But as the time passed, I grew to realize that the guitar still wasn't in the best position for me. And I think this realization had to do with the flat surface of the yoga blocks being suboptimal. And what's great about this on-stage footrest that I got is that it's angled a bit, so it keeps your leg in the ideal position. Whenever I was too lazy to use the yoga block trick, I also tried using the bottom part of my computer chair. And this was probably the best alternative I tried before using an actual footrest, but it still didn't feel quite right. Sure, this was a pretty stable method for my foot, but similar to the challenges I've had with the other methods, resting my foot on the bottom of my computer chair did not leave my foot in a sustainable position. And this was because my foot wasn't at an ideal angle. If anything, it left my foot angled opposite to what it should have been. It also left my foot at a height that was too low, so I needed something that could lift my leg up higher. After exhausting all the free options for elevating my leg, I knew it was time to finally pull the trigger on an actual footrest. As I mentioned, the footrest is commonly used by classical players who play guitar in the classical position. The classical position requires you to sit with your guitar on your left leg or your right leg if you play lefty. Most guitarists tend to favor the guitar resting on the leg that corresponds with their picking hand, and I get why, because it can feel more comfortable this way. However, sitting with the guitar in this more casual fashion has some not so comfortable side effects. And Mick Thompson of Slipknot has addressed these issues by stating how sitting with the guitar on the leg that corresponds with one's picking hand can cause unnecessary pressure on both arms. Since you have to be somewhat rotated in that position, the muscles on the side of your picking hand, such as your trap and bicep, are stressed due to some degree of flexion. And this also puts pressure on your shoulder since it has to flex and stretch to maintain that position. And on the side of your fretting hand, your hand and arm are also unnecessarily stressed since they have to extend to reach the neck instead of staying relaxed. The benefits of sitting in the classical position include a more relaxed posture, ease of access to all areas of the fretboard, and more efficient playing overall. A footrest allows you to easily achieve the classical position. Plus, when you roll up on a squad of other shredders and take the seated classical position, you automatically look like you know what you're doing. I don't tend to buy, let alone recommend gear unless I truly believe it's worth the money and it makes some reasonable difference in the guitar playing experience. No gear you buy will make you a better player, but certain things like a footrest can lead to more productive practice sessions. If you're a serious student of the guitar, I highly recommend you at least try sitting in the classical position, and you don't have to use a footrest like the on-stage one I got, but for the current price of $12.95, it is a small investment that could make your practice sessions easier and more comfortable. And to level up your skills and be a more productive guitarist, don't forget to download my free guitar gains cheat sheet if you have not done so already. It gives you my best scientifically based tips on how to make consistent progress, conquer any guitar goal, and eliminate poor practice habits like practicing in waves. I really want to see you be the best guitarist you can be, and 2025 is your year, so just click the link in the description or go to ZachSharGuitar.com and download this awesome free resource. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Zach with Zach Shar Guitar. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.